Welcome back to our Behind Enemy Lines feature, and it's the big one this weekend. We thought the season was finished, but it may well not be. There's been a bigger resurrection, we keep saying over here, than Jesus at Easter. It's been Blackburn Rovers, and we head into the final game against Sheffield United to not a very happy hunting ground. I'll let you introduce yourself. I'm obviously not on my own.
I'm Chad from the red half of Sheffield. Thanks for having me on, Mark. It's a pleasure to look forward to maybe not such a happy ending to Sheffield United season.
Well, yeah, I mean, from your point of view, you are obviously third and you're going to remain third. But from our point of view, we're hoping to make this the first of 3 dates that might be coming in the next week and a half or so. Although Bristol City have thrown the cat amongst the pigeons this evening by losing 4-0 at Leeds. So actually, we might finish 5th even. This is us getting very giddy. I suspect we might be very disappointed this weekend. But let's have a little bit of a listen about Sheffield United. So in terms of their season so far, is this kind of what you've expected? Is this how you hoped it would go?
There's the question. Hope, yes. I in the back of my mind, I did hope that it would be this good. Obviously, we have a terrible record in the playoffs. We haven't won in, I believe it's 9 times of going in the playoffs. Honestly, on my preview pod, the beginning of the season, I had us 15th. I just had us as a bad side. We had too much baggage coming down from the Premier League. We had to cut most of that off and rebuild. I even hated Chris Wilder coming back as much as he's a messiah and everything with every United fan you talk to. I just wanted a refresh and a recharge and give it a go. If not this season, next season. Well, it starts off where we come out of the gates like a bat out of hell, honestly, and string together a lot of wins, a lot of clean sheets, and you get to October and you're like, we really might have a chance of this. Leeds and Burnley not dropping many points either. So it started to, it's like oil and water. It started to separate. The top 3 started to separate themselves. Then the season all turned. Harry Suter goes down with an ACL injury and bring in the old trusty Jack Robinson, Jackie Longthrow, as we call him in the Sheffield United podcast realm. He could throw the ball in from about a quarter mile out of play. And so the liability at the back began. There goes the clean sheets out the window. I think we have total on the season. I think it's 21 clean sheets, including the 2-0 win against Stoke. But as I said, the clean sheets evaporated. And we started dropping more points, but Leeds and Burnley had a stretch of about 10 to 12 games where they just drew every game. 0-0s, they didn't concede, they didn't score many. Leeds are kind of just doing what Leeds do, and they win, and then they hit the patch of like wobbleness where everybody in Sheffield United land was like, "Oh, Leeds are falling apart again." The songs and all that BS came out. And then Sheffield United proceed to, at the beginning of April, I'll go back to January. We decided to sign nobody to replace Big Harry Suter. Rob Holding, who from his days at Arsenal was bald and now has hair plugs, and Harry Clarker, who we brought in to try and mop up at the back, and that didn't work. Rob Holding's started maybe 1 or 2 games since the beginning of the calendar year coming in. And then we get to April and you look at the table and you're like, holy hell, we're first. We really have a chance. And you look at coming off of the Wednesday win and then going on the international break, you have the big one against Coventry City, come out the blocks, win 3-1. Should have been, if it wasn't for a late consolation, should have been a 3-0 win. And then you look at the fixture list and you see the likes of Millwall and Plymouth and Oxford, and you're like, in Cardiff, and you're like, we could really do this. Then they play Oxford and lose. You're like, okay, maybe that's a blip. Then you lose to Millwall. Oh boy, that's worrying. Then you throw away 2 goals in the last 10 minutes against Plymouth, lose that one, and then you're basically out of it. Then you play Cardiff, who Cardiff look like an under 18 side. Burnley beat you like a drum and clinch automatic promotion and rub it in your face as well, as they should, because in the grand scheme of things, if you look at the season as a whole, Leeds and Burnley are the top 2 sides. You can see in their goal differential is almost 20 to 30. I mean, Leeds is probably about 40 over us. But yeah, then we were relegated to the playoffs, and yeah, we're here now, comfortable. Well, as comfortable as a 2-0 win against Stoke could be last Friday night. And then, yeah, we get ready for Blackburn. And as you mentioned, could be 3 games in a row. And I mentioned it on our preview pod, having you on. No offense to anybody, Rovers. I just don't want to play you 3 games in a row. I hate when we get paired in an FA Cup. Like we played Cardiff in the FA Cup and then played them 2 weeks later in the league. I just don't like doing that. I'd much rather play someone else. And if we face you in the final, fine and dandy. But yeah, that's a long-winded answer for summing up Sheffield United season 2 whole.
No, it's great. So in terms of the Stoke game, just obviously moving more into the game at weekend, how did he go in terms of the team? Did he do much rotation? Is he looking at the season as now, right, do you know what, let's part the season and let's get ready for the playoffs? How's Wilder approaching it?
I have no idea how he approached it, because he looks through a different lens than I certainly do. Rested Gus Hamer. He wasn't even in the match day squad. Yeah. Rotated, bringing in, Kiefer Moore, in Tom Cannon, and Tyrese Campbell even got a little bit of a go. Brewster was in there. City Pack and Vinny Souza, Harrison Burrows out on the wing. Sam McCallum got the goal out on, playing on the other side. And then you had the aforementioned Jack Robinson and Anel Ahmed Hodzic in the back. You had Hamza Chowdhury playing in more of a holding role in midfield. But it was a rotated squad, kind of, but you still got minutes and legs. Gus Hamer is the one that you could say, hey, we'll wrap you in bubble wrap and see you in the semifinals for the playoffs. We don't really need him in this game against Blackburn. Maybe a 10, 15-minute cameo, considering we would play either you or Coventry or whoever it may be in I believe it's 5 days, 5 days after. So, I mean, it was a rotated squad, but like I said, he's still got minutes and some legs that I think you probably should at this time.
Do you have any idea of what the team might be this weekend? Do you think he'll do the same again, or will it be the other players rotated?
I think it'll probably be a little bit of a stronger team. Gus Hamer will probably come off the bench. Off the top of my head, I don't think anybody's in yellow card jeopardy that might not start to where, if we have a yellow card or God forbid a red card, you're out for you're basically out for, the rest of the season. But for some reason, I think he's going to go with Tom Cannon up front, maybe pair him with Tyrese Campbell, maybe Kiefer Moore, and then play Brewster kind of in behind. Maybe I keep forgetting about BBD, as I call him. He's playing out of position since he's come back to Sheffield United in January, and he's got a few goals for us. I think you got to get him maybe scoring if you can. So put him in the side. So maybe Brewster and BBD, tucked in behind the likes of Kiefer Moore and Tom Cannon, who needs a score for what his price tag is. And then you go Vinny Souza, maybe Hamza Chowdhury in, and then, like I said, make the sub for Gus Hamer late in the game. And then Harrison Burrows and probably Sam McCallum out on the wings, and then the aforementioned Anel and Jackie Robinson in the back, so he can get skinned by probably one of your attacking players.
Well, Brereton Diaz better not score at weekend. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
He won't celebrate.
I'm not bothered if he celebrates or not. He just better not score. Otherwise, we will be falling out. In terms of your thoughts of Blackburn, have you taken much note of our season? I don't blame you if you haven't, to be honest. But
no, I mean, I'm an avid fan of the championship. I love this division wholeheartedly. And so not only, yes, I watch Sheffield United, but I try to watch the other 23 teams, or if it's available. And I mean, it's been a roller coaster of a season, and you kind of summed this up on our preview. You didn't think Blackburn were going to get in there, and then they stringed some results together, and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be a team that's going to be to reckon with in the playoffs. And then it all goes like wrong, and Blackburn drop out of the playoffs, and now they're kind of clawing their way back in. And that's why I asked you the question, whether or not you just think it's a bad division and it's easy to string results together with, the bottom half of the division being kind of winnable matches every week. And if, like you said, 4 on the bounce, if you're able to get those bad teams or inferior teams to you and string a couple together, you can make the playoffs. And so it's no surprise that Blackburn's in and around the playoffs. I'm just surprised they didn't cement themselves when they had the chance to kind of almost break away, kind of like Sunderland did, where us three kind of walked away from the league, and then it was Sunderland just kind of been marauding out there, and then it's tight in underneath Sunderland in the table.
Yeah. Well, I think similar to what you're saying you've done recently, we played the bottom 4 teams almost in a row, I think, and we lost all 4. So,
that'll do it.
That's what happens. So in terms of any memories of Blackburn, obviously, we have a massive history. Unfortunately, it's getting further and further in the past. But is there any memories, any things that you think about when you think of Blackburn Rovers?
This in a negative light, the absolute, as I call it, piss missile Tommy Doyle scored against you guys in the FA Cup. What was that, quarter final? That was, as I've coined it, a piss missile. I mean, an absolute shock. Because in not to begrudge anything Blackburn did, but they, in a game that I thought United would win comfortably, Blackburn definitely surprised me. And honestly, if it isn't for that, I think Blackburn go through. If Tommy Doyle doesn't score that goal and it goes to, extra time and penalties, I think Blackburn on that day were the better side. I was very surprised. But no, I mean, growing up when I was a kid, Blackburn Rovers were a predominant Premier League side. And, it's one thing. I'm an EFL fan over the Premier League, and that's why I don't support a team that's there. And you can say, well, you're a hypocrite. You were just in the Premier League last year. Until we made it to the promised land in 2019, we have been absolute garbage. But no, it's one of the Blackburn is one of those teams that's synonymous with the Premier League. And I just want you guys to get back to the promised land. You guys deserve it. And you need the influx of cash. Let's face it, every team in the championship, except for probably Leeds and Burnley, need the influx of cash. And it's just, but trust me, guys, whoever listens to this, whoever watches this, you don't want to go to the Premier League, because next year if we go up, we're going to lose 35 games and it's going to be absolutely miserable. And we probably won't win a game. We'll probably have 3 draws and end up with 3 points next season and be like, yeah, that was great, wasn't it? Worth the payday.
Yeah, the novelty quickly wears off at the end of August, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, for sure.
Right, let's have a look at Saturday then. You're not sitting on the fence. We're going to have a prediction. How do you think it will go? Are we going to be happy boys leaving Bramhall Lane, or do you think we might be rather disappointed?
The only thing that is stopping me from picking a Blackburn 2-0 win is it's at Bramhall Lane. That is the only thing I can see Blackburn going in and getting all 3 points because there's so much on the line for Rovers. And I can see them going in and, maybe I'm completely wrong. And Wilder throws out the kids and, we're just kind of resting knowing we have a game in 5 days. Then Blackburn do it. But I just think there's so much animosity at the club right now for how the last month had gone that I think he's going to be inclined to put a stronger side out. Yeah. And I'm not thinking it's more than the odd goal that's in it. We're not going to keep a clean sheet. Okay. So it'd probably be a 2-1 United win. But guys, I'm with you. I could see Blackburn winning this.
I'll take that.
It's the hope that kills you, though. Yep.
That's so off. Absolutely. Right. Chad, thank you very much. But if you want to just let everyone know where they can find your stuff, and, we may be very, very interested in it for the next couple of weeks. So, yes.
Yeah. You guys can follow us on Twitter, X, Red Half of Sheffield, and you can get in the comments, say, your American accent is, you sound like an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. I love when people do that. But yeah, Red Half of Sheffield everywhere, Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, review podcast, preview podcast, the whole 9 yards, So
great stuff. Great. Thank you very much, Chad. And
cheers.
Remember to like and subscribe, everybody. And well, this could be the last preview of the season, but who knows? You might be seeing Chad again in about a week or so. Fingers crossed. See you next time.